shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
A major ice storm is in our forecast for the weekend. I'll show you what time it arrives, how much ice you could see, and what the impacts may be.
And we're talking about preparing for that ice. From potential power outages to expected dangerous road conditions, we are getting you prepared ahead of this ice storm.
Plus, it's up to the jury. Deliberations will happen today in the case of a double murder in Orange County, the latest in the Isaiah Ross trial. Good morning, everyone. We are really glad you're watching right now. With a major winter storm on the way, what we're about to share is important for you and your family's safety. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Levingill. Let's go ahead and dive into it. WRAL has team coverage on everything you need to know, from travel changes to power outage preparations. And we begin with that very important forecast with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner.
And what we need you to know is this is going to be an ice storm. And that means ice will coat trees and power lines, and they will fall, and we'll have widespread outages. This is not going to be a snowstorm for us. We do have a high risk for power outages for most of the viewing area. It's a little lower for Fayetteville, Clinton, and Goldsboro, just because we could see more rain starting to develop there later on Sunday. But no matter where you are, you need to take this seriously and be prepared for widespread power outages. We do have a winter storm watch that goes into effect Saturday afternoon as the precipitation begins, but it could be upgraded sometime in the next 12 hours or so. This is a high impact winter storm. It is an ice storm with widespread power outages and hazardous road conditions that will start to develop late Saturday and Saturday evening. Precipitation begins on Saturday afternoon. As it begins, it may be fairly light, and so it could be some sleet and snow, mixes in briefly, and then it changes over to freezing rain, which is just a raindrop that freezes over surfaces. It means that your steps, your deck is going to be slippery, roads could be slippery, and we'll start to see those power outages likely Saturday night and into the day Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, dangerous cold is in our forecast, and meteorologist Grant is coming up in just a few minutes to talk more about that. All right, we're looking at the potential for a little bit of rain in our southern counties today. Most of that is over by around lunchtime, but we will be cloudy for the bulk of the day. This is a look at Goldsboro. Our temperatures are mild right now. It's 40 degrees around the triangle, looking at 32 up around Roxboro, but other than that, temperatures are well above freezing for today, and we'll end up with a high of 49. But tonight, the temperature drops down to 22, and of course, we'll talk more about the onset of the precipitation and when you can expect to see those power outages. Ken?
Well, Elizabeth, happening now, and of course, our intentions are to keep you safe on the roads all weekend long. But for right now, let's take a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning, flowing in at a nice steady clip. Traffic is beginning to pick up just a bit, but we're not seeing any delays on any of our major routes, short of a 1-minute delay. If you're coming in from Wake Forest, you're just looking at a 1-minute delay on US 1 South. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Crews are preparing the roads ahead of this weekend's winter storm. WRAL's Ali Calabar is on I-40 in Raleigh this morning. Ali, brine is already down on most major roads. We've certainly seen the stripes.
Renee, we've definitely seen crews brine more than 6,000 miles of road. They just wrapped that up yesterday. Today, we may see them back out on the roads because, as Elizabeth just talked about, those light showers. Now, if you do see rain today, NCDOT says that it won't strip a road of all the treatment. It's still effective, it's just not as effective. Crews had to retreat parts of I-40 yesterday because of rain. If there's any heavy showers, NCDOT will make a decision on where to rebrine. Now, once the winter storm comes in, they plan to use salt treatment and motor graders. But even though they are prepping the roads, the extreme cold will be a problem. They're asking people to just stay home.
This isn't an event where the Mother Nature is going to help anything melt. So it's really going to be us. We're going to all work to get everything safe for folks to be out. People need to stay home and let us do our job.
NCDOT says this will be a big team effort over the next several days with State Highway Patrol, contractors, and utilities. They're asking people to stay off the road so that they can safely clear them as soon as possible. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
And new this hour, teams have started towing vehicles left on highway shoulders this morning. Electronic message boards have been warning drivers about this. Highway Patrol says the hope is to clear as many roadway hazards before icy conditions hit. And during the storm, abandoned or stuck cars will be marked with yellow tape. This will indicate whether they have been checked and if anyone's inside, and that confirming, I should say, no one is inside.
To drive on these icy conditions it is for everybody else. We get a lot of calls to help people that just have become stuck. They've slidden off the roadway.
Emergency management leaders want to be clear, stay home if you can. If you need to drive, take it slow, especially on bridges. Highway Patrol says drivers should have some supplies to stay warm in their cars just in case.
We are expecting flight cancellations in response to the icy conditions this weekend. This is a live look at RDU this morning, and that's where we also find WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. Kelsey, RDU has been working on their winter weather plan for months.
Yes, Renee, they've been preparing for this moment since the fall. Crews will be working very hard throughout the weekend to remove any ice from the runways here at RDU. We got a chance to get a behind-the-scenes look at some of the equipment that they'll be using to help keep travelers safe. Check out this video. The director of field maintenance here at RDU says crews have been preparing for their winter weather protocols since September. Their goal is to have at least one runway clear for takeoff and landing at all times. RDU has 60 tons of solid de-icer to help clear those runways.
It's the same principle as the brine, but we use a different chemical. It has a lower freeze point and is a whole lot less corrosive than what's used on the roadways.
RDU recommends that passengers should monitor their airline's app before arriving to the airport. Check those notifications just in case there are any cancellations or delays. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live at RDU.
Now, the potential for power outages is high with this coming ice storm. Just a half inch of ice can weigh down power lines, and 3/4 of an inch can lead to more widespread outages. Utility companies say that power outages during these low temperatures could be dangerous for some people. If you see down power lines, make sure you stay away as far as possible. That's because you can't tell if they're live. Utility companies we spoke with say that it is all hands on deck in preparation of this storm.
Staging our crews. We have additional crews coming from the outside, but with the storm being so widespread across many states, most people are holding on to as many resources as possible. So we're on waiting list for additional resources on top of the ones that we already have coming in.
If you needed another good reason to stay home, more drivers on the road put utility crews at risk while they are preparing and repairing the power grid.
Today, we will learn more about how North Carolina is getting ready for the storm. Governor Stein will take more questions at a news conference this morning. It is scheduled for 11:30 at the NC Emergency Management Command Center in Raleigh. WRAL will be there. You can count on WRAL to stay on top of this winter storm until it moves out. We have the largest, most experienced team of meteorologists dedicated to keeping you and your family safe. Look for updates on TV, online, and on our social media pages. Now is the time to make sure you have the WRAL News app to stay connected even if your power goes out. Make sure you have breaking news and weather alerts turned on.
Today, jury deliberations will happen in Orange County in the murder trial of Isaiah Ross. Ross finished testifying, and lawyers gave their closing arguments yesterday. Ross argues he shot Devin Clark in self-defense after Clark shot Lyric Woods. The prosecution says, though, that story doesn't match the evidence.
The Buddhist monks are now about 30 miles away from Raleigh on their walk for peace. They're waking up in Pittsboro this morning. Last night, the monks spoke to a crowd of hundreds. Children even stayed up past their bedtime to hear what the monks had to say.
I think it's amazing that they have so much dedication to walk across such a long distance.
Honestly, I'm just surprised that they're not crawling right now.
Today, the monks will walk along US 64 toward Apex. They will stop for lunch at Jordan Lake State Park between 10:30 and 1 o'clock. Tonight, they will sleep at Apex High School with visiting hours between 6 and 9 p.m. We will continue covering every step of their journey all the way through Raleigh.
Yeah, it's a busy weekend for NFL action. The conference championships are Sunday. First, the New England Patriots will play the Denver Broncos. Kickoff for that game is 3 p.m. And then tune into Fox 50 for the NFC Championship. The Seattle Seahawks will play the LA Rams, and that game kicks off at 6:30. Your time is 6:09 this morning. Weekend event changes. Many of your plans are likely being postponed or even canceled. We'll talk a little bit more about what's been affected as you're likely going to stay home this weekend.
Plus, get prepared now. Stores are running out of essentials. The empty shelves we are seeing across the area.
And of course, we're looking at an ice storm. We're going to talk about when the precipitation begins, how much ice you may see, and what the impact of that could be.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio in Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:12, we are starting off with some showers this morning. This is not related to the major winter storm that we'll see over the weekend. Our temperatures are above freezing, and it's just a little bit of light, patchy rain. Most of it's going to be along and east of I-95 today, but it could last all the way up until just after lunchtime. After that, we're going to see temperatures dropping tonight on down into the low 20s, and that's when things get tricky. So we do have the top of the tower lit in green for those light showers that we'll see today. We take a live look at Pittsboro. It is mostly cloudy here, but again, all across the viewing area, our temperatures are above freezing, except in Roxborough, where it is 30, but nothing is falling there today. 47 in Fayetteville, 42 Garner, 39 in Cary. Walking the dog this morning, it's chilly, but not as cold as it was a few mornings ago. We'll see a high this afternoon, right around 50 degrees. And coming up in just a few minutes, we'll talk more about when the ice will arrive and what the impacts could be where you are.
Elizabeth, happening now, 3 traffic takeaways we want you to keep in mind as we get ready for this major winter storm. First, dangerous driving conditions, and those elevated surfaces like bridges will be especially dangerous. And if you have to be out on the roads anytime this weekend, drive defensively, slow down, give yourself some extra time. We will be here all weekend to make sure that you stay safe on the roads.
All right, thank you for that, Ken. This morning, we're tracking how the incoming ice storm is affecting weekend events.
First, Astronomy Days at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences is postponed. The free family-friendly event includes opportunities to meet scientists, hands-on activities, and more. This year's theme is Passport to the Moon, so the event will be held next weekend. That will be January 31st and February 1st.
And the Kids Everywhere consignment sale, this is also changing hours. Tonight, they will still have the ticketed adults-only sip and thrift event. However, tomorrow and Sunday's hours at South Hills Mall will shift to next weekend. That's January 31st and February 1st.
And the Downtown Raleigh Home Show is canceled due to weather. The Raleigh Convention Center is closing tomorrow and Sunday because of the winter storm. Anyone who bought tickets can use them for the home show events at the fairgrounds in April or even September, or you can request a refund on their website.
Well, the weekend ice storm could bring lasting power and travel impacts, and the lingering cold after the precipitation ends plays a big part in that. Let's go ahead and bring in meteorologist Grant Skinner and the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Grant, we could see temperatures drop into the single digits early next week.
That's right. I want to emphasize that even though this ice storm will be very, very impactful this weekend, and you need to make preparations today ahead of the weekend, even after the precip wraps up, there's going to be lasting impacts. And a big reason for that is, we actually had someone on report actually sent in a question, how long is this ice going to last after the precip ends? Well, as we head into Monday and Tuesday, we're really watching for those temperatures to drop off again. Another batch of cold air sinks into the area. So look at this. Down to Tuesday morning, we dropped to 10 degrees. So we could see ongoing icy issues into the first half of the coming week. Lows still in the teens Wednesday. Fortunately, highs will warm up later in the day on Wednesday, but still watching out for those ice concerns. Again, Monday, Tuesday, and possibly even to Wednesday. We'll have to watch how those highs shape up later in the afternoon on Tuesday. And that's after the winter precipitation during the weekend. And look at the wind chills right now to the north and west. We won't see 44 below zero like Minneapolis is seeing, but you can see the deep cold air mass working its way into the area. Those wind chills will drop off into the end of this weekend and the start of the coming week. This is looking at the wind chill forecast Monday night into Tuesday morning. You can see starting in the teens down to the single digits, could drop below zero during the early morning hours on Tuesday. That's why I want to emphasize, even though the winter precip will be done, we still will have lingering ice and also dangerously cold temperatures as we head into Tuesday morning. Here are the 5 P's of cold weather safety. We always emphasize these. Protect your people. Make sure you're wearing multiple layers. Plants not as much of a concern because we're already deep into the winter season. But also your pets. Remember your pets. Bring them inside. Keep them inside. And make sure to always practice fire safety. Please only use safe heating sources. Elizabeth, this comes after all the ice we're expecting this weekend. And we're going to break down Futurecast here in a second. mean, we're expecting this for a good portion of the weekend.
Yeah, we are. And of course, we added Tuesday to our WRAL weather alert day because of all that dangerous cold. So Saturday evening, the precipitation begins. It is mostly ice for us, an ice storm causing major power outages. Of course, we'll also be dealing with dangerous roads during the weekend and into early next week. And then that bitter cold on Tuesday morning. That's tough to think about. We're going to see wind chills down to 0. So our precipitation types mostly is going to be freezing rain. There might be a little bit of sleet mixing in our northern counties, but the bottom line is this is going to be a major ice storm. Let's back up and talk about this morning. This morning we're seeing just a few light showers. That will continue for much of the day. This is 11 o'clock. That's 2 o'clock. Once we get into the mid to late afternoon, all of that begins to move out. Skies clear tonight, and our temperature tonight drops down to 22. So we are well below freezing on Saturday morning. Now, this is Saturday evening at 4 o'clock, and you can see there's a very slim chance that some of this begins as some sleet or freezing rain. The purple shaded area is sleet or freezing rain. This doesn't really differentiate between the two, so you could be seeing either one of those at around 10 o'clock. But I feel like by Sunday morning, everybody's seeing the freezing rain. That's creating a layer of ice on trees, on power lines, also on your steps and on your decks. Those are places where people could easily slip and get hurt. Notice what happens as we get into Sunday morning. This is 9 a.m. The precipitation begins to taper off a little bit. We might have a window, we might have a break in the precipitation late Sunday, but then the cold front comes through. That's going to bring us all that really cold air for Monday and Tuesday. And ahead of or with that front, it could end up being some rain. And so our window of ice accumulation is going to be from late Saturday night through maybe the early mid-afternoon on Sunday. And then after that, our skies are going to clear, and of course our temperatures will plummet. How much ice will we see? Anywhere from a half an inch to an inch from the triangle area northward, and then closer to a half an inch in our eastern counties. What does that mean? A tenth of an inch of freezing rain is going to, create some icy conditions on your car. Bridges can be slick, light icing on the trees. Once we hit a quarter of an inch, that means things really begin to get tricky. Limbs can break. We start to see more power outages and roads become icy. And then that half an inch is a major ice storm. Travel becomes impossible, and we get into widespread outages. As we get through this, we're going to be staffed 24/7 all the way through it. We'll let you know when your area is reaching up to a half an inch, but it's more likely from the triangle area northward. We could still see it in our southeastern counties as well. So everybody has the potential to have power outages. Chances of snow are getting much slimmer. Less than an inch of snow is possible up near the Virginia line. What do you do now? Plan to stay at home over the weekend. Prepare for power outages. I can't tell you how wonderful our staff at WRAL.com has done about listing everything you need to know to prep for this storm. It would take a lot of time to talk about it. Go to WRAL.com and you'll see everything that you can do to stay safe. We're going to stay very, very cold into next week, as Grant was talking about. We'll talk more about all these impacts coming up.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Of course, we will be here to keep you safe on the roads as well if you have to drive this weekend. Here's a live look at I-40 and Jones Sausage Road. The westbound lanes coming in from Gardner-Johnston County delay-free at this hour. And if you're navigating other sections of I-40, that southern loop of the Beltline around the Lake Wheeler Road, Gorman Street exits, no delays whatsoever. Of course, no delays around Wade Avenue to I-40 westbound. As far as other major routes coming into the Raleigh-Wade County area, delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
We're talking about preparing the mountains at 6:20 this morning. Grandfather Mountain is getting prepared for this winter weather. The effort to clear snow from the trails there.
And car essentials ahead. 5 on your side breaks down the items you need to keep in your car in the event of a crash.
And ahead on today, Savannah Guthrie returns. She will share her personal journey with vocal cord surgery, and we'll hear her new voice for the first time.
And here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. New this morning, the town of Henderson is implementing a curfew starting tonight as police investigate multiple shootings over the last several days. This new curfew will be from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. It's expected to be in place for 4 days. The decision was made at an emergency meeting last night.
In the last 72 hours, we've had 2 juveniles, 2 young people that had absolutely nothing to do with anything. And so to me, this is public safety all day long.
This is video from the scene of one of those shootings in Henderson under investigation. Police say people were hurt on Wester Avenue on Tuesday night, including a 7-month-old baby. Police say they are also investigating 3 related shootings on Wednesday that hurt 2 people. They happened on the South Garnett Street extension, Robertson Street, and Water Street. Police believe that these shooters were targeted. SBI is helping police in their investigation. Anyone with information is asked to call Henderson Police.
Well, people are stocking up ahead of that ice storm. Look at some of the grocery store shelves here locally. The bread section at Costco cleared out. The same at the Raleigh Harris Teeter. And a Target's water aisle there was also pretty bare when we stopped by. The concerns with the storm, I mean, this is statewide, folks. Teams at Grandfather Mountain are trying to limit the effects there. These pictures you're seeing show teams clearing out the snow paths. The people who manage Grandfather Mountain say they try to keep it open as much as possible. Teams monitor the weather and then they decide to close if that is necessary.
Heated rivalry stars will be part of the Olympic torch relay.
Plus, you got Harry Styles releasing new music and tour dates as well. We've got Ken Smith here to talk a little bit more about that and what's trending.
Yeah, Chris and Renee, we'll get to Harry Styles in just a little bit, but HBO Max announcing Hudson Williams and Connor Story will be part of the Olympic torch relay ahead of the 2026 Milan Olympic Winter Games. The actors are stars of the hit series Heated Rivalry, and of course fitting for the Winter Games since the 2 players play hockey players in a secret romance.
Yeah, perfect for this. The opening ceremony is February 6th. WRAL is your home for the Olympics. Don't forget.
Excellent. So, pop star Harry Styles putting out the first song from his new album. The track is called Aperture. It comes alongside the schedule of his upcoming tour, Together. Now, it's a 50-date run made up of residencies in Europe, the UK, Brazil, Mexico, the US, and down under in Australia.
And while he's going to be in the U.S., his show's there. 30 nights at Madison Square Garden in New York City, and the album is called Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally.
Disco Occasionally. I'm intrigued by that.
All right, thanks, Ken.
Okay, I'll tell you what, we've got new runs of the computer models coming in, and I was just over there looking at them. We're still, of course, looking at a major ice storm, but it could be that we start this as some snow near the Virginia line. We're going to talk about what's new this morning coming up.
Plus, we're talking about school preparations. We reached out to local districts about their winter storm plans, the special considerations they've made heading into the weekend.
Plus, monks in Wake County. Today, the Walk for Peace will arrive in Apex. A look at the Buddhist monks' route on the way in from Pittsboro.